Beloz, why are you the talk? Not so we get this program.
Now we not the husband material.
No, we not husband material.
Ole,
Never.
are we good to go? And please, I would like you to speak English. I don't...
Now, we always hear that the best story is a love story. This is not a love story, but this is a story about bachelorhood, about finding love, falling in love, falling out of love, heartbreaks, choosing that right person, and settling down. It is a story about being the best husband material. It is a story.
Wait. Now we not the husband material.
No, we're not husband material,
Well,
so no.
always had good chances.
Will you keep quiet?
You're doing well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I am hoping that you see that my story is your story too.
I loved the idea of love. Like, for me, it was unpopular, but I did not care. All man know me, I was in love with every single girl I met.
Do you think love at first sight is a thing? Or do you think as men, the first thoughts we process is physical and perhaps that might be lost? Because that's a conversation I always like to have. As a man, when you look at a woman, the first thing you see are her physical attributes. Mm-hmm. When you get to know her, you know the personality and all of that. So, putting that into perspective, do you think as a man it is possible for you to say, you know, this was love at first sight?
Something at first sight is possible. I mean, so the thing about love, I don't want to get all philosophical, but I think it's a journey. It's like, okay, Ilano can't go into me boku ramblings and science, but a lot of people know Schrödinger's cat. As in, anything is possible, but until you open the box, then you will see exactly what is possible. Or the outcome. So for me, love at first sight is something like that. There is something at first sight. But then only the journey that you guys take will clarify if that feeling was love. Because sometimes at first sight, I know I have felt those feelings, but then the outcomes did not match the initial feeling. So you start questioning, is this love? But looking back, what if the outcome matched the feeling? Could it have been love? So for me, there is something at first sight, for sure.
Okay.
But it is more physical. And love is a bit deeper than physical attraction. Of course, you know that. I mean, there's a lot of... It's a journey. Love is a journey. Ultimately, it's a journey of growth, self-discovery, companionship, friendship. It is not one feeling. So there is a part of love you can have in the beginning, but to fully understand if it was love, I think you have to go through the entire journey. And then, yeah.
It's interesting when you say this, because I tell my wife, just the other day, we were driving, we drove into town, just quiet drive, listening to music. And I said to her, a lot of people, I am sure, when we decided to get married, must have thought we were crazy. But for me, I think the beauty of what we have is that we were total strangers. We decided to take a leap of faith together. And not Sabimi and not Sabian will to just say this, Lojo jump. Usa will land, we land. And the beauty is in getting to know each other, growing, discovering things about each other. And for me, I think, yes, that is what love is. But it begs the question, when we're growing up, even when you don't big as man, boy picking, you get boy picking party them. When you're really, really into somebody, quick, man, and don't say, that baby able you, that baby don't knock you down. Why do you think love is so unpopular amongst men? I mean, I know I was the butt of so many jokes because, forget all the stories and everything. People would say, Beloz, all saying fall in love, all saying fall in love. Like, why is it such an unpopular thing?
I mean, I feel like I was on the other side of that. Well, maybe not on the other side, actually. Because I also went through, when I was younger, my nickname na be Enrique Iglesias to the baby there. I loved the idea of love. Like, for me, it was unpopular, but I did not care. all man know me, I was in love with every single girl I met. I mean, knowing what
We
love is
love our
now,
boy.
exactly, knowing what love is now, maybe not. But I really don't understand why it is so unpopular. I think it is building a group of men that become too worried about expressing their emotions. It is unpopular, but just trying to think, I cannot pinpoint why. Because I wore my heart on my sleeve. I mean, I had an incident when me party them they check on me regularly. They were so worried, like, is this man going to make it?
I don't take
yes,
to
is
mind.
this man going to make it? Because I just love as it was, and then so I really don't know why it is unpopular, but I would say we need to change that narrative.
We do.
I
agree.
Men can be in love, men can cry, and it's okay.
And that's
It's
so
okay.
important that you mentioned that crying. Like, I'm a quicker cry. Like, I get so emotional, and you know, it's such a strange thing, and I don't know where we get this notion or perception. Say, man for be like for strong, for like you hurt sometimes. Sunday and day we do it's person. You know, she does something to you. It pushes
Just
all your
overwhelming.
wrong buttons, and it's okay to just break down and cry, recalibrate, communicate,
it is.
you know. But people don't get that a whole lot. I think just tying up on love, you know, we hear a whole bunch of things about, you know, when you fall in love, there's of course that possibility of, you know, heartbreak and everything. And the one thing men do a whole lot is rebounds. And I always say, I think we don't take account for how much damage we cause as men when we rebound. Because if you think about it, you're rebounding, you're trying to heal, you're not ready to be with somebody else. You meet somebody, invariably, sometimes a woman way young past you, you understand, look up to you, you come in, you have no emotions, that you just try to forget over the other person. And you end up hurting that person. You end up leaving that person. You break that person. And before you know, if you meet other man, then just not then treat them the same way, it's another story. Then don't begin the name tagger and call them names and everything. What do you think is, or how best do you think as a man you can deal with heartbreaks? I mean, of course, yes, the crying, the everything is okay. We definitely don't want to do the extreme of some man turn to drink, turn to all kinds of things.
Of course.
But what do you think is the best way to deal?
I think it's very subjective, because we are all a sum of our experiences. So I don't want to particularly prescribe. I don't think there is a prescription on how to deal with heartbreak. I mean, different people handle heartbreak in different ways that works for them. But for me personally, I had been through different heartbreaks that took me months and months on end, maybe a year or two even at some point. And it is just, I think as men, you have to understand where you are in your journey whenever you face heartbreaks. You have to understand where you are in your journey. And I think that is key to figuring out. You have to basically position yourself to see heartbreaks as a learning curve. I think that's the only advice, kind of. Whatever you do to enhance your learning process, I think that's very key. But heartbreaks, I think, are very important to get you to a position wherein you become a better lover, a better friend, a better brother, sister, because heartbreaks come in different forms. It's not only relationships.
Yeah.
For me, my biggest heartbreak, of course, was losing my mom.
Absolutely.
So that was a moment of reflection. Again, the only advice I would give young men or a man, use your heartbreak as a moment of reflection. There is a whole lot of possibilities with heartbreaks. It is an opportunity for transformation. So for me, that's it. I cannot prescribe a formula, but if I will advise, self-reflection, learning opportunity, transformation.
Interesting. Now, I mean, this conversation could go on and on and on and on. Could be an endless conversation. And I really do feel we're just scratching the surface, but perhaps there might be opportunities for other conversations around this, this subject. But you're here now. You're married, happily married, might I say. You have a child and everything.
Yes.
If you were to advise teenage Ali, or just a teenage boy who's just starting this journey, see the CBB there, woman, the leg for there around them, because I know, like, I myself, I grew up and I was always around the ladies. It came naturally to me for whatever reason.
The ladies love the funny guys. Same for me, but let's not let that
before police case come.
Exactly. Yeah.
Looking back, what advice would you give to that teenage boy or teenage Ali about love and relationships and expectations and, the things to look out for?
I mean, I just try to summarize everything we have been talking about. And one thing I would tell teenage me is, it get for happen. It get for happen. Because, again, the context of who you are is actually important. Teenage me was crazy about love. I love love. You know what I mean? So I was so desperate for love. Like I was trying, exactly. I just the yarn. Yeah. In our era, it was a bit different for us because phone not be there.
Yeah.
But when I look back, I imagine if phone be there, some of we for on the Guinness Book of Records.
But land phone been there. When me on tell land phone been there.
But me turn back.
The builder.
Exactly. So, again, I think for me that will be the advice. It is going to happen. Enjoy the journey. Don't get worked up about women at a young age. Work on yourself. Figure out what you want. And ultimately, the right person manifest. I don't want to say comes along like magic. No. It manifests because of who you become. Absolutely. That's how you find the right person. You become something that attracts that kind of person. It's not about chasing every woman. It's more about working on yourself and being open to experiences. And
including heartbreaks?
For me, again, when I look back, without my heartbreaks, I don't think I'll be where I am.
Absolutely.
My heartbreaks form the deepest fabric of how I experience love now. And I'm thankful and nothing say me we've boku grumble. But even in for be grateful of, there's a song, I don't forget the name of the song. There's a country music where talk about Andy like the heartbreak now lead you to me. So any young man growing up, it's okay to have your heart broken. It's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Yep.
Just embrace it. Use it as a learning opportunity. You are going to become better for it. And it happens. Eventually, once you work on yourself, it happens.
It does happen. Thank you very much for making time.
Yes.
Indeed, love happens. As men, we shouldn't shy away from love. I think perhaps my own last word to young me go be woman not so man fumble. But that's just on a very light-hearted note. I think more seriously, this conversation was meant to just, speak to men, speak to young boys that it's okay. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be shy to wear your heart on a sleeve. Not in a day we say as man, you not forget emotions, you for be robots, you for be soldier. Take a chance. Like, love really is a beautiful thing. And as, my friend here has said, that person sometimes where you begin the journey with, because life is a journey, where you dey school, you think, say, this is me and they married and all. Invariably, the person you end up settling with is somebody completely different. Some people carry their person all along because they're on the same journey in life. And some other people, they go their separate ways. It's okay. But whatever happens as a man, be open to falling in love. And I think just remember when you do settle down, when you get married, that it is something that takes work. You have to be committed to it. You have to put in the work. It doesn't work on autopilot. Do not stop fighting for it, because nobody pushed you, except if they force you. But if you made up your mind by yourself, you went into it by yourself, stick with it, fight with it. This has been a very, very interesting conversation, dubbed husband material. I was teasing my friend saying my ring they shine. I don't know me own or
you pass your own
Uda
first.
they shine passing on. But whatever it is, you know, love, open your heart and just experience what comes with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.